How do you think they figured this out? This is getting back to this, you kind of went around that. But this yogi that devised these 112…
So when he came, he appeared somewhere in Himalayas, and people saw that he was dancing wildly in ecstatic states, completely oblivious to everything around him, or he sat still. For days on end, weeks on end, he just sat still, unmoving. So initially, lot of thousands of people gathered, some miracle is happening, but slowly, because he didn't perform any miracles, no fireworks happened, people got bored and they left. Only 7 disciples hung on because they saw the greatest miracle is the man is not getting up for food, water, toilet, nothing. That means he's beyond the physical nature. He just sat there for months on end sometimes. The only sign of his aliveness was tears of ecstasy were dribbling down his cheeks. That was the only sign of life, otherwise he looked like he's dead. So when he came to his… some moments when he came to his consciousness, they pleaded, they wanted to learn, what is it that is happening to you? So he tried to be dismissive, he didn't want to be in touch with them, but when they hung on, when they persisted, then he put them on a preparatory kind of work. They went through the preparatory work and then he started expounding for many years what is the science of how human mechanism is made. And you won't believe this, 150 years ago, Charles Darwin talked about evolutionary process. Over 15,000 years ago, he spoke something which is parallel to Darwin's theory of evolution. Even today, every Indian person knows about this. There are 10 avatars. Avatar means not the movie that you saw, avatar means a manifestation. So 10 avatars are… first avatar is called Matsya avatar, which means the life was in the form of fish or it was water, it was in the water. The second one is Kurma avatar, which means it's a turtle, that means it became an amphibious life. The third one is a wild boar, it's called Varaha avatar. Other small things happened but the mammals came. Then the next one is called Narasimha, who is half man, half animal. Next one is a dwarfed man, Vamana avatar. The next one is a full-grown man but a volatile man. He's so angry and so crazy, or a fighting man, that always he went about chopping off people. He got so angry and he lopped off his own mother's head. So the next one is a peaceful man, he's a Rama avatar, he's a peaceful, gentle man. The next one is a loving man, Krishna avatar. The next one is a Buddha avatar, who is a meditative man. The next one, the 10th one, is supposed to be the mystical man. These are not individual people to be seen. This is the evolution of life on the planet. If you look at Darwin's theory of evolution, somewhere it runs parallel to this. From waterborne life to amphibious life to this way, half man, half animal, dwarfed man, like this it has grown. So he talked about this and he said, see, if you want to evolve further, then something in relationship to the earth and the sun must change. Otherwise, physiologically you're not going to evolve further. But you have a consciousness with which you can transform yourself absolutely and become completely different from what you are right now. Right now you're available to all the forces of nature. Right now in many ways you're enslaved to what's happening around you. You can rise above this and evolve consciously, but physiological evolution has come to a standstill because planetary movement and who you are right now, the planet and the solar system is functioning like a potter's wheel to make this happen. This life…
like a what?
Like a potter's wheel, potter's wheel.
Oh, potter's wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's functioning like that, it's gotten you to this place, so people ask, can we develop more intelligence? Can we become bigger than this? He says, no, physiologically, your evolution has come to a place, unless there is some serious change in the relationship between the planet and the sun, that will not happen, but consciously you can evolve. So then he propounds 112 ways as to how you can do it, 112 distinct ways how you can do it. So that is how yoga started.
Who do you think this person was?
He's Adi Yogi. They called him… because he never introduced himself, they called him Yogi because he was the first one, they called him Adi Yogi. Adi Yogi means the first yogi. And he is also referred to as Shiva. Shiva means one who is not, that which is not. In the sense, see today modern science is speaking in these terms, in an atom for example, over 99% of it is empty space. There is proton, neutron, electron, all that covers less than 1%. 99% is empty space. So it is in the cosmos, 99% is empty space. See, right now you look at this ceiling and you think it's full of star-like lights, but actually there's more empty space than lights, isn't it? Yeah. But because our visual apparatus are in a certain way, designed in a certain way, it gives more prominence to light because that's what we see more clearly. So he said everything is like this, so if you transcend your physical nature, you become a Shiva. That means you are nothing. But nothing is the most powerful dimension of the existence because it is in the lap of the nothingness, everything is happening. What you call as everything is just 1%.
Do you think this was a real person, like a real individual, or do you think it's representative of the learning of yoga, and the best way to establish it, to express it, was to make it a person?
It's a real person because the places where he came, what he spoke, everything is recorded in history, largely by lore. Today people are trying to write it down in books because in India, we don't believe in scholarship. We believe in experience, inner experience. So it's always transmitted as an oral tradition for a long time. These days people are writing down in many ways. It was a real person because…
Pretty spectacular human being, if they could do
Absolutely.
all the things.
See, when he came down south, in southern India at that time, people were way shorter than the northern people. So they say he was twice the height of an average South Indian woman. So they say he must have been… because an average South Indian woman, tribal women were like 4.5 feet. So he must have been 7 or 8 feet tall. That people said he was twice that. And they say when he stood next to a horse, he was as tall as the horse's ears.
But do you think these are exaggerations?
No,
do you think, what do you think
exaggerations could be there, but because his physical size doesn't mean anything for his yoga.
Right, but
so
why?
there's no point exaggerating that aspect, I'm saying.
Right.
See, if he was a warrior, somebody may exaggerate him. But for a yogi, what is the point making him a big guy physically?
Just to make him divine, so
No,
physically unique.
that is the whole thing. See, in India, the Indian culture has only spiritual paths. There is no real religion per se, because a religion needs a belief, all right? Spiritual process needs a quest, a seeking. If you are on the spiritual path, we call you a seeker. If you ascribe to religion, we call you a believer, all right? Belief means something that you do not know. Because an authority speaks, you believe that. It could be your father who says that this is the truth and you believe him as a child, then it may be a priest, then it may be somebody bigger, or it may be in a book. You believe it because it comes from an authority. But the nature of that culture, the Eastern culture, is there is no authority for us. Truth is the only authority. Authority is never the truth. So that is the essence of Eastern mysticism and Eastern spirituality, that it is… you're always a seeker, never a believer.
So you think that yoga just emanated from this one incredibly unique human being that was larger than everybody else, that had supernatural abilities, that existed 15,000 years ago?
No. See, now you're making a superhuman being out of somebody.
By
No.
making an 8-foot-tall person who can
No,
go for
you
days
see,
on end without drinking
there have
water.
there have been people like that, all right, in every culture. There have
there have
been
been
physically large people, but his physical size has nothing to do with his capabilities.
Right, but
Because
the capabilities are super physical too, aren't they?
No. See, this is what it's about. Yoga is not about being superhuman. Yoga is about realizing being human is super. That's what is important. So that's the whole thing that he's saying. How being human is so super, if you explore your humanity to its fullest, you will become so fantastic. Being a human being itself is a fantastic feat. You don't have to act like a superhuman being. He did not perform any miracles, he did not do anything. He just taught them how to be beyond the limitations of one's physical and psychological structures, that's all.